Hey guys, so today I want to talk about a product that actually got me a little bit excited, especially for the Blackmagic cameras. It's a great accessory, and I think this might be a good one. Hey guys, so behind me I have something that's really interesting. Now, I generally don't get that excited over products, and I haven't found one product that's completely perfect. Now, all products that we buy have faults, whether it's the Blackmagic cameras, the Sony cameras, there's always something to complain about, but if the majority is positive, I usually gravitate towards that product. If the price is right, if it's the right time for me to buy, I will pull the trigger on something. Or if it's gonna make my production or my life easier, then I'll do it. If it doesn't, then I usually skip on it. So I was recently contacted by a company called Portkeys. Now these guys make monitors and other products as well. But this monitor was extremely interesting. So what got me excited about this particular monitor, it's the BM5 22 nit monitor. Now 22 nits gives you a really good amount of light on this monitor, so it's gonna be great for outdoors. Even in the sunniest environment, I think it's gonna be a great companion. So I'm really excited about it. But the one thing that really kind of kicked it for me was having the Bluetooth and remote to be able to kind of do that offline as I'm shooting, so I don't have to A, touch the camera constantly, B, be maybe away from camera a little bit, and C, just go through the basic settings. Now, yes, there are phone applications that can do that actually work, and that's great, but having a phone on set is, one, it's a little bit disruptive. Two, I don't really want to use the phone because the batteries kind of go low, and I usually use that for communication. Obviously not while I'm shooting or I'm being paid by a client, but just don't want to use the phone for those kind of things. I want it to be on my rig and part of my setup, end of story. So really cute case here. Inside it was nice and packed, and the monitor was great. So behind me is how I have it set up. Let me just bring it a little bit closer so we can talk about specific little pieces of it. To show you how this is broken down right now with the camera, I have my rig set up a certain way. So I do have the Feel World monitor set up, which is gonna be the 7-inch monitor. I really love this monitor. It's ultra bright, it's been great. I love using it. The truth is though, I don't like taking up a ton of space. Putting the histogram on there and a whole bunch of other things, just basically cluttering up my composition and really making sure that I'm locking in those shots. It gets a little disruptive. So having a second monitor just for that alone is fantastic. So the BM5 II has been great. It's super bright. Let me kick this thing on and just give you an idea of what's on there. It's already paired with the Blackmagic 6K. Now, it took me a little while to kind of get it together and pair it together with the camera, but once I figured it out, it was not a problem and it remembered the camera. And you can do this with your 4K as well. So I'm gonna kick it on right now, make sure I have all the power on everything. So I got the main camera power on, I've got my monitor kicking on. This should be coming on right now, and let's take a look. Make sure that we're all set up. Now, you know, so the Bluetooth signal's on. What's great about this is I can go into these screens, change all my settings. I can also have my battery kind of really close to the monitor back here, which makes my rig more compact. And that was the one thing that I was super excited about. Yes, you can record from using your record button. I get that. Like, it's not, this isn't a, oh my gosh, like I can hit record and it's not here. So, but once you rig up your camera, it becomes a little, you know, difficult and clumsy to find your record button. Everything is here, so it's almost like I'm thinking of this as, this is my main brain, this is what I'm using this monitor to focus on, and that's it, and calling it the day. So it's got a ton of great features. Again, you can go in and change everything, your white balance, how your setup is. You can set up your ISO. Having a record button available to you here is fantastic. You know, there's so many little options here. You can control your zoom, your iris if you have that that type of camera, and you can connect it to your Bluetooth Tilta follow focus system, which is great. I particularly don't have one, don't own it. I'm still kind of like loving the manual follow focus for most cases. When I'm going alone, maybe I will take, you know, the eye focus that I'm using from the Moza Air, which works out just fine for me. But the Tilta looks like a great product. I've heard nothing about great things about it. Coming to that point, I'll show you some of the hookups in the back. But just as a monitor, I can change all my settings here, whether it's RAW, if I'm shooting ProRes. I can do all that here without having to physically go in and touch my screen here, which is great. So it is a touch screen. Again, 2200 nit, and it's really, really nice. So, you know, it's kind of a little bit of a win-win here. It's not breaking ridiculous grounds, but it is a really well-built monitor. It feels like a traditional production monitor, which is really, really nice. So there's other features as well. So if I have my histogram, let's say here, and I'm going in and I'm checking this, what's great is I can focus now on image and on this monitor and not have to worry about, you know, what's happening on this screen. And again, with this screen and this setting here, I can set up so many different scenarios where I'm actually seeing the little menu screen here, and I can see the focus of what I'm doing, plus all my color setups here, which is great as an additional monitor on its own. Now, if I wanted to take this off right now off the camera and just remotely use it, I can easily use it. So it basically was providing two antennas that came with this. You've got this one, which I'm sure is giving you a lot more reach, and you've got a little one that actually goes on here. As far as accessories goes, it doesn't come with the HDMI cable, but what it does come with is cables to power this thing. Now, if you look at the back, the one thing that I did mention is that it has SDI in and out. Now, SDI, if you've never used it before, it's, to me, a much better situation than using HDMI. One, I think it's a better signal. Two, it won't pop out because it locks in, which is great. These connectors here are to run the Tilta if you're using the follow focus. You've got some camera control here, motor out for your motor if you're using the Tilta. And again, it's got power options over here, and you can use an MPF battery if you want to do this remotely. I'll show you what that looks like really quickly, and it will completely control this camera. Again, for me, it makes a lot of sense because I can really, you know, make my rig a little bit swifter and tighter and not have to worry about, you know, bringing this all back down and just changing it. I like it that it's nice and tight and clean. It feels like more of a traditional production camera, and this is exactly what I'm trying to do with this camera. I'm trying to work with its flaws and making it work properly for me so that, you know, it makes my day easier and I don't have to worry too much about that. So, okay, so I basically took the monitor off. Right now it's on its own. It's not, there's no connection to the camera, no cables, nothing. What I'm gonna do here is it uses NPF style batteries. So I'll plug in one of my batteries here. There's nice little release over here for this, which really works nicely. We'll extend this range, and I've tested the range so far in a really kind of a, not too large of a space, but large enough where I'm away from the camera and not worrying about it, and there was no interference, no problem. I'm gonna go ahead and boot this on. Now, you know, this takes a little while to boot on. Let's see, you know, maybe probably like 10 seconds or so, maybe less. So now that it's booted on, I can completely control the camera, and as you can see, it's completely connected to the camera itself. Now, if you look at the monitor here, and if I bring that up here, I can show you that I will be able to control the light. I don't know if you can see all that, but it is changing the values of the light itself if you're looking at the monitor up here. So what it looks like is that, and it's giving you all those options. So one of the other features that I really like here is I can hit record. Now it's recording on the camera itself. It's giving me a record icon on this. I can stop recording. And then what I can do here is I can go in, look at different settings. So again, you can control the zoom, the iris, and you've got your focus as well. There's a ton of little options here. I can go ahead now and change the camera settings as well, and I want it to be full 6K. It will do that for me as well. which is really nice. Just, and it also gives you a secondary look at what you're shooting on and how things are set up, because I'm used to looking at the back of the Blackmagic camera. So again, this is on the 6K, it works on the 4K no problem. And it's actually really nice. It's got 4 function keys. The inputs here, you've got audio, you've got HDMI, you've got your SDI in and out, which is ridiculous. It's a good price point for that, and it future-proofs your monitor as well. I really like a large monitor, and I think a 7 inches is probably the perfect size as far as you know, viewing for me. This is a 5.2 inch monitor, and it's so sharp, so it's really great. It's nice to have an additional monitor. You've got all your screens here. I can exit out, do whatever I need to do here. You've got a toggle wheel here which controls volume and some of the other settings as well. And that pretty much covers this thing, and this has been such a, you know, such a joy to, and kind of treat to kind of work with. Some of the things that I found problematic with this particular monitor is it came with a Gorilla Glass. When I mounted the Gorilla Glass on here, it no longer had the touch functionality, which kind of sucked because you want to have that covered, and it didn't work. I don't know why. Maybe I installed it wrong, maybe I did something, or maybe that just doesn't work that way. So I left the regular screen as is, hopefully not to drop it and hurt it and nothing happens to it. Again, this one is coming with the Bluetooth module. Let me just turn this off a second because I'm not using it. This is coming with the Bluetooth module. I'll give you the pricing alone for the monitor, which I think is an incredible monitor, and the fact that you can upgrade it. I think they're going to come up with a few more things to do here for this particular monitor. I wouldn't count these guys out for doing some more innovative stuff. But again, you've got the Bluetooth edition here, which is fantastic, and just an overall great monitor. It's a great addition for the Blackmagic camera, and just as a caveat, this works on a Sony, this works on Canon, and you can have full control on these cameras with this. Hey guys, thanks again for watching. I hope this was informative. Once again, I'll say, if you don't need something, don't go out and buy it. If this fits the bill for you, for now and for your needs, then, you know, then go ahead and do so. I mean, I do recommend this product, but it's a really kind of fine niche of people that may need this specific monitor. I do think that they're pushing some new technology, which I'm excited about. I'm sure there's going to be some updates, and you're going to be hearing more with this company. There's a lot going on right now, especially for the Blackmagic cameras, and trying to figure out ways how to power it better, have different remote situations that happening, because again, these cameras are fantastic. The sensors are unbeatable for the price range. So there are a few products that I'm keeping my eye on. This was one of them, so I was really excited about it. But again, if you have any comments, question about it, please feel free, and please subscribe or hit that bell button as well if you want to hear more of our content, and would love to talk to you. And again, hit those comments, and I'll talk to you guys soon.